Hi everyone, in this video we will discuss some important case laws on Indian Constitution. This is part 5. The first case is Lily Thomas versus Union of India and others 2013. In this case, the Supreme Court, responding to a public interest litigation, declared subsection 4 of section 8 of the Representation of the People Act 1951 as unconstitutional. This particular subsection granted convicted members of legislative bodies a 3-month period for filing an appeal against their conviction and sentencing. The court ruled that members of parliament, legislative councils, and legislative assemblies who were convicted of crimes and sentenced to a minimum of 2 years' imprisonment would cease to hold their membership in the respective house from the date of sentencing. The next case is Joseph Shine versus Union of India 2019. The Supreme Court, in a landmark decision, declared Section 497 of the Indian Penal Code unconstitutional. This section criminalized adultery, but the court held that it violated Articles 14, 15, and 21 of the Constitution. The court criticized the law for treating husbands as masters and undermining the dignity and equality of women. It emphasized that any provision of law that affects the individual dignity and equality of women is in direct contradiction to the principles of the Constitution. The court further stated that it was time to acknowledge that husbands are not the masters of their wives, and the concept of legal sovereignty of one sex over the other is fundamentally incorrect. The next case is Sunil Batra versus Delhi Administration and others 1978. In a significant verdict on prison reforms, the Supreme Court emphasized that even a convict is entitled to the fundamental right guaranteed by Article 21 of the Constitution, which protects the right to life and personal liberty. The court affirmed that a person's fundamental rights do not cease to exist upon entering prison, although they may be subject to certain limitations due to incarceration. Furthermore, the court recognized the positive role played by social welfare organizations in engaging with legal processes that have broader societal implications. This involvement was seen as a constructive mediation between the people and the rule of law. In order to improve the conditions of jail inmates, the court issued a series of directives. These directions aim to address and rectify the issues related to prison conditions, ensuring the protection of the rights and dignity of individuals who were incarcerated. The next case is Mumbai Kamgar Sabha Bombay versus Abdul Bhai Fazullah Bhai and others 1976. This particular case is widely regarded as the bedrock of public interest litigation PIL in India. In this case, Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer, speaking on behalf of the court, emphasized that procedural rules should serve as assistants rather than masters of justice. He noted that the majority of legal cases involve individuals from rural areas, the general public, and marginalized segments of society who often find the law intimidating. In order to address this, the court recognized the need for expanded forms of legal proceedings such as test litigations, representative actions, and pro bono publico, which would allow for a broader approach to resolving legal issues. These progressive approaches to litigation were seen as essential in ensuring access to justice for the common person and acted as a deterrent for those seeking to evade the substantive merits of a case by exploiting procedural technicalities. The last case is I.R. Coelho's case 2007. The ninth schedule case upheld the validity of the doctrine of basic structure established in the Keshwananda Bharati case. The main issue before the court was whether it was permissible for Parliament, based on the doctrine of the basic structure, to shield laws from judicial review by placing them in the ninth schedule. The court held that after the Keshwananda Bharati judgment on April 24, 1973, laws in the ninth schedule would not enjoy absolute immunity from judicial review. The court stated that it would examine the nature and extent of infringement of a fundamental right by a law. The constitutional validity of laws in the ninth schedule would be determined by applying the direct test of effect and impact, which assesses the actual impact of the law rather than its form. The court would decide whether the infringement is justified and if it violates the basic structure. The court's role is to determine whether the infringement was necessary and if so, to what extent. This shifts the responsibility of deciding the necessity of a law from Parliament to the courts. The court has the flexibility to apply both the rights test and the sense of rights test in determining the validity of such cases. That's all for the day. Thank you for watching this video.